Van Milan. So, I wanted to talk about something that really is something that I knew many years ago, and it is coming into me now. And I think it's time for me to talk about it because I do see that we are in a time on Earth where we have multiple entities that are interacting with mankind. And so humans are seeing that, and star seeds are coming forward, and the Pleiadians are giving messages through channelers and through mediums. And we also are getting information about the reptilians and other types of races. Now, it's important to know that above all this knowledge, above all of whatever is going on in the world, it's important to understand how time actually works. Because, as a lot of scientists and a lot of physicists say, time is really an illusion in the sense that we, as humans on Earth, we actually create time and measure it in our moments that we have on Earth. But truly, there is no such thing as time, not in the measurement. And also in other dimensions of space, time is a physical shape that is not necessarily linear at all and can actually be in different shapes and different dimensions to it. And once you are in the higher stages of awareness and you are living in those higher dimensions as a higher dimensional being, such as a Pleiadian and other types of entities like the Sirians and Arcturians, when you are a higher dimensional being such as them, you will be able to manipulate time in a sense that you are able to understand how time is not necessarily linear. So you can come in, you can go back into your past, you can go into your future, and you can move forward in this kind of way on a consciousness level. On a consciousness level that then interacts and interplays with the reality around you. So, this is what is happening on Earth. Humans that are awakening into their higher stages of consciousness are starting to awaken into their Pleiadian selves, their Arcturian selves, and they are starting to align with those species. And this is because in the idea of time in the universe, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Sirians, these actually are our future timelines. And of course, they are different in the races and different in the type of physical characteristics because, like humans are also divided into different nations. So, starseeds divided into different planetary systems and star systems also do exist, the same thing as like on Earth, where humans were divided into different nations. And so we have all the same goal. The Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Sirians, their goal is actually to find unity within each other and to stop warring of whatever happened in the past between the Lyrians and the Vegans. And, you hear about the history and the wars. And I really want to put forth the message that we should stop focusing on what happened in the past and realize what is actually going on in the future, what's going on right now in the present that is leading us onto this road in the future. And what's going on in the present right now is the Arcturians, the Sirians, and the Pleiadians are actually coming together in unity. They are unifying in their allegiance to servicing others, to servicing the light, to servicing good. It's very likened to the idea of Lord of the Rings, where you had the elves and you had the dwarves and you had man all come together to fight against the darkness. That is exactly what is going on with the Sirians, the Arcturians, and the Pleiadians. And of course, there are other beings that I'm not mentioning, but those are the major ones that we're hearing human souls awaken to and talk about how they are a starseed from these planetary systems, or they feel somehow aligned, or they have memories, or they resonate. So this is what's going on, is that those beings are actually coming into our reality and are trying to show humanity, this is your possible future. You can rise your vibrations to the level of peace, respect, and living on a state of awareness and a higher dimensional living platform that the other extraterrestrials do. And then we have the reptilians, and we have the grays, and we have the possibly the draconians. I'm not too sure about the draconians. I'm still trying to understand more about their intention as well. But the thing about the reptilians and the grays is they represent a possible future as well. So we're now in a crossroads with humanity, where humanity is actually seen, are they going to go more in the direction of the reptilian race? Are they going to become, godless in the sense of, not allowing spiritual expression to exist, trying to stifle emotions, looking at things very materialistically and not believing in the unseen worlds out there? So, that is the reptilian, that's the gray route. The gray route is, to become more material and more obsessed about technology, that they actually messed with their reproduction and their gender identities, that they actually rendered themselves genderless in the sense that they cannot reproduce anymore. So this is why grays are said to abduct people, and if you look at all UFO case files, you will understand that they actually probe in the reproductive areas, not for sexual, it's not like a sexual fetish, it's not that the aliens are raping anybody or anything like that. It's because they are using instruments to actually take out reproductive cells in order to try to find a way to render themselves, their future selves, as being able to reproduce. And that's why that species is dying out, the grays. And then you have the reptilians that have been on Earth for a long time, and they have just been trying to suck the resources dry. And they're trying to grow, but they're trying to grow on the darker path by taking energy and taking resources from others. So what's going on is Earth is a convergence point in the idea of time, where humanity is interconnected with these entities, and we're all under the same source that people call God, and we're all manifested from this source called God. And what we have right now is we have the manifestation playing out this story of mankind discovering its true potential, and mankind discovering its possible future. And so this is the crossroad time, and this is why it feels so strange to a lot of people, is that some people are actually deciding to go more into the materialistic, the reptilian, gray type of route, where they're actually rendering themselves literally genderless, and they are actually becoming obsessed with technology, and they are seeing that we need to get rid of religion and spirituality, and they are rendering themselves so materialistic that they are actually pulling themselves into that polarized spectrum of where the reptilians are and where the grays live. And then you have the other side of humanity, where they are awakening to their divine nature, feeling an interconnection to all things in the cosmos, believing in the moral high values and the ideals that make you feel good, but also have some kind of applicable nature in the world. And so those people are actually resonating towards the Arcturians, the Lyrians, the Sirians, and the Pleiadians. So we have two different timelines kind of going on right now. And so Earth is being kind of divided in that sense. And there's no one doing the division except the individual soul. Each individual soul on Earth is actually choosing to become more reptilian like, to become more gray like. Each individual soul is actually choosing to become more Pleiadian like, more Arcturian like, more Lyran like, more Sirian like. And so this is our future. We are entering, it's basically like, Star Trek is the idea that it's the evolution of that humanoid species into the cosmos and exploring the universe and coming into contact with other entities and other species and realizing there's an interconnection. The good is going to always be on the side of the good, the ones that service life, the ones that service others, the ones that are in balance of servicing, themselves, but at the same time, they're always going to lend a hand, and they have this allegiance to life. They have this allegiance to God. They have this allegiance to the divine creator. And then you have the other entities where it's the dark side. It's Satan. It's Iblis. It's the jinns that did not follow the creation and go in the flow of life. So that's where the line is being drawn. And it's not being drawn by anyone except for individual souls on Earth right now. It is 2017, so now is the time, you know, think about what the world will look like in 2050. Think about the world in that sense, and you can see that the humanoid species is evolving, it's changing, and we may not see so many physical effects because it takes millions of years to actually see physical changes, but you are going to see that humans are actually evolving spiritually, mentally. Now, they can de-evolve as well. And that's what's happening as well with some people that are falling trapped into that material type of reality and are, denying some of the things that are going on and are pursuing money and are just all about the material aspects of the world, and are also the ones that are harming others. Whoever is harming others, you are polarizing yourself with the reptilians and the grays, because they don't care about each other. They only care about each individual soul. Now, it's said that the grays are a hive mind that are being controlled by the reptilians. That information is so hard to completely see what is accurate and what is not. But it's important to understand that the reptilians and the other entities, the draconians, these entities, these extraterrestrials, these energies, they align to the idea that they service themselves as individuals, and they don't care if they step on the feet of others around them. They don't care if they hurt others as long as they reach the top as individuals. That is the way that they feel. So any humans who are on Earth who are like, I'm going to do me, I'm not going to think about anybody else, I don't care who I harm, I'm going to cheat on my loved one because I want this affair and I don't care if it hurts my partner that I'm committed to, you are polarizing yourself to that spectrum. You are actually polarizing yourself to the selfish entities, the extraterrestrials in the universe. So you are joining sides with them. You are actually merging your consciousness with them. And those that are actually waking up to a more altruistic side of themselves, who are like, it doesn't quite feel right when I just service myself. There's something missing in my life. I need to be helping others. I need to feel that interconnection and prove it to myself that we really are interconnected. So you go out and you actually service others. You help the poor. You start community service projects, you start companies, you raise awareness to help others, you are raising awareness to help humanity as a whole. you are polarizing yourself to the Pleiadians, to the Arcturians, to the Lyrians, to the Sirians, the ones that have learned their lesson, and the idea that when they are servicing themselves as individuals just to thrive, just to live, they are forgetting about the whole. And when you forget about the whole, that's when a species dies out. That's when a species can no longer survive. And this is what's happening to humanity as the line in the sand is being drawn by your own hand. So the Pleiadians are extending their invitation to those that are listening, to those that want to make a better life for themselves on Earth, as well as wherever your soul, your consciousness goes into the next stage of existence. This is your time now to choose wisely, because where your choices are aligned to will pull you onto the timeline that exists in multiple realities and multiple dimensions. And so wherever your thoughts, wherever your actions, wherever your deeds, pull you towards, it's going to pull you towards that particular path. If your thoughts, your actions, and deeds are dark, they're going to pull you onto the darker energy path, such as the entities that we know of that are stealing from humans, that are taking from humans, that are coming in the night and are interfering with humans, are talking to the government, and are causing this discord and the division. You're going to follow that path. And the Quran, the Bible, all the holy texts talk about it, is that when that happens, when humans follow Satan and the demons or the jinns, and they all follow them into the fire. They all follow them really like into a black hole of the abyss. They just fall right in. And this is about energy wise. This is about energy wise because negative energy that does not do any creation itself, that does not do anything positive and just harms others all the time, is going to fall away. The new creation will not need that type of energy. It falls away. And your existence, your consciousness falls away as well. So that's the eternal isolation that happens to a soul that chooses to constantly harm others, and there's no repentance, there's no asking of forgiveness, because you don't see and you're so blind, and your ego rules you, and you follow Satan happily into the fire, and you follow the reptilians and you follow the greys into their timeline, and you happily become part of their species. But then on the other side, there's those that are truly trying to align themselves to the angels of God. They're trying to align themselves into having angelic spirits on earth. They're trying to make amends, reach forgiveness, reach a repentance for any of the mistakes that they make on earth in their learning. And that is the most important. You can make mistakes. This is trial and error. But once you actually admit to yourself, I made a mistake, I'm going to learn from it. And that's when you grow. And so those that are actually committed to the soul growth, they are going to ascend to those higher levels of dimensions that the Pleiadians, Arcturians, the Lyrians all live on. And that's where you're going to see your timeline is going to align with those particular beings. So then their future becomes very viable to you, and the potential is there. And how it affects you on this earth is that you can walk around with a very happy, blissful state of being in which you understand who you are at the core and where you are heading later on as well. So there's no fear of death. There's no fear of the unknown because you know who you are. You know that you have tried your best to be a good person. You have tried your best to polarize yourself to the positives and the creational force of the universe. And you are not a selfish being like the reptilians or the greys. You are actually a selfless. You give of yourself. And in doing that, you actually receive everything that you have ever imagined. And that is the undying lands in which everything is permitted to you and you experience this total bliss and relaxation. So that is opening up as a potential to those humans that are ready for that final rest, that are ready for that when their time comes. Because you don't know when you are going to be called back, and we only have so many years on Earth right now, and the future of humanity is dependent on the actions of the majority of the Earth. So I'm hoping, as the line in the sand is being drawn and it's affecting the individual souls that are polarizing themselves to different spectrums and are aligning themselves to the different entities that we are knowing by names now in the universe that have been contacted, have been contacting Earth, have been contacting mediums, have been channeled, have been working with the government. That is the human's future. That is where you can actually go when you make your choice. So aliens, demons, angels, they all are the same thing in the sense that there is light energy and there is darkness. And it depends on the way that you physically act out your life and the soul learning that you do that allows you to move forward or to go back. So time is not really exactly linear, and it exists in multiple pathways and dimensions and realities. So that is what I hope, is that all of the humans that are on Earth right now, they join the Pleiadians, they join the Arcturians, they join the Lyrians, they join the Sirians, they join the family of light, and they decide to actually live the divine truth that they really are, instead of pursuing the ego and the subjective experience of trying to make themselves feel better temporarily or feel good with darker desires temporarily. It's a temporary fix. It's a temporary happiness. The true, lasting, permanent happiness is aligning to goodness, aligning to the light. And that is the divine truth. And it's the laws of physics in the universe, in terms of energy, in terms of positive and negative energy. So decide now what side you want to be on. And going forward, your life is going to change. You're going to align with the family of light. So things in your life are going to change. Your level of awareness, your level of consciousness and state of being on Earth will change. Nothing will really affect you, and you will be in a more peaceful, blissful state. Drama will fall away, or you won't allow it to enter into your life very easily. Or you'll know how to recognize it right away, and you'll know how to step around it, and you'll know how to solve your own problems and to reach that own inner peace and joy that you seek. And then that in turn gives other people inner joy and peace. If you have a conflict between two people, if one person just puts that weapon down and just is like, you know what, it's just not worth fighting. It's just not worth fighting for. Then the other person, it awakens something inside that other person, and that other person gets in touch with their inner peace that they desire as well. And the other person will then put down their weapon if they are sincere in their quest for peace and for bliss. They will put down their weapon as well. If a being is not sincere in their quest for peace, there are just beings that just decide they want to search for discord, they want to search for darkness, they want to search for death and destruction. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I would love to help those souls if I could. If you are a soul that feels like, why am I pulled into that way? Email me. I'm happy to help you in any kind of way I can, because I want everybody to reach a very peaceful state of existence with no drama, to live out your life on Earth, and together we move into the future, the unknown future, and to realize what path we choose is always going to bring us on a path of goodness. It's always going to align us to the family of light that are trying to send messages right now. So choose wisely, I say. And if you need help in this journey and you're just somebody that's pulled to the dark side and you don't quite understand it, email me. This is completely free advice. I'm just trying to help souls align themselves to the family of light, to gather as many as I can in order to, well, to help them reach their inner peace. And I work for the unity consciousness, and I'm part of that unification process. So, my goal is to help unify everybody and bring a sense of spiritual equality to all. So if I can be a service and help someone, go ahead and email me. It's in my about section. And I will help you get back on the path of light if I can, if you really are sincere in your quest for the light, for the goodness, if you want to experience that eternal bliss state, I will help you. I will be glad to help you find that for yourself. So, hand and light for watching, and peace, love, light, and unity to you all.